Hey guys, how's it going? Got done playing with the bikes. I was waiting for a brake pad for the Speedway, and that's been installed, and the brakes now work on that, and that bike's pretty much good to go. I am probably going to sell it. The Cushman, on the other hand, is I'm not sure what I'm doing with it yet. It would be a cool wrap project. Right at this moment, I do not have the time to go start something like that. So I basically just kind of put a bolt here and there and everything and put it all together, put a tube in the front just so it is rollable. And I'm going to roll it out back to the tank garage and I'll keep it there. And I'll either look for parts over the summer, or I'll sell it, or I'm not quite sure what's going to happen with it, but that's where that sits right now. So this is what I am working on. It is grills for a restaurant, the indoor grill that you cook your steak tips on and burgers and everything, you know. These are the diffusers, I guess you'd call them, or drip trays. So you got the grill on top here, you got your steak tips up here, and the juice drips down. Instead of dripping into the flame, it drips off to each side. They're made out of stainless, but over time that's what happens to them. They rot out. I think it's a combination of the flame and the marinade dripping on the marinade. I think it's kind of acidic. So I already made one for him 3 weeks ago, something like that, and he's been waiting patiently on these, so I need to jump on them and get them done. Here's some beginner pieces from last time. Some of these were kind of a rejects, the bends were not right or whatever, so gives you the idea of what we need to make. I have a bunch of scrap stainless, which you see there, and that's what I'm going to start with. And I started laying it out and said, let me go grab the camera and see if people have an interest looking at this kind of stuff. So just let me know one way or the other. You can be honest. I'm a big boy. Take it. I know my channel is mostly automotive stuff, but if I'm playing with something else, if you guys want to watch that, I have no problem turning the camera on. So we need to make 16 blanks that are going to be 11 by 3 3/4 square rectangular plate. So I can get, this is 8 inches wide, I can get 2 abreast and 6 deep out of this one. So that's 12 of them, and then we'll start cutting on the bigger piece for the other ones. And there's a couple of oddball ones I got to make in here too. If you look, most of the time they go like that, but then you have to make one that looks like that too. So that's probably a little bit more metal. Probably, I don't know, 5 by 11, something like that. So, all right, without further ado. Alright, so I'm cutting up some metal, and I'm using a Chinese plasma cutter. It goes up to, I think it actually goes up to about 55 on the reading. Right now it's set at 21. I believe the stainless I'm cutting is 18. I think it's 18. I like to use a piece of angle facing that direction, being that it kind of matches the profile of the nozzle. As to trying to do it like that, or like that, I find you're so far away from the line, I don't know. It's easier to judge too, because you can kind of eyeball it and see where you are, instead of the torch being an inch away from the line, I guess. Anyway. hardest part is using it is trying to keep an even pull. That's the hardest. It snags on you a little bit because it kicks slag back up on top, so that you start getting hung up a little bit on the slag. Slide you back. Yeah. Hair off of that. I guess it's still in the picture. Well, you get the idea. I'm going to now slice them the other way and get our 12 little pieces. Alright, so I got all those cut out, and now they have the rough edges that are left over from the plasma cutter, and I want to go clean them up. So what's over here is just, basically it's a motor with a sanding disc on the end of it, for the most part. It's a 10-inch disc, I believe, and basically run these against here to go clean them up. And with this, you just want to stay away from the right hand side. It's spinning in this direction, counterclockwise, so you never want to go stick something in here because it's going to come back at you and it's going to jam into the paper, where this is always pulling down on you, so it keeps you out of trouble. I have a foot pedal on it. I just will come over when I need it, hit the foot pedal. I'll just do that to each one of them. Gives them a decent edge to work with. Alright, so now what I got to do is figure out where I want to make these bends on here. And this is 2 inches to here, and I believe it's 1 inch from this side, and it's 3/4 across the bottom. So for kind of repeatability, there's this tool. This one's stir it. No, this is general on it. What this has is a ruler built into it, like a stop collar that you can adjust and put wherever you want, and it goes up to I think 5 inches, yeah, 5 or 6 inches. So I'm going to go set that at 2 and lock it down. And what it has is, you guys can see that the little nub on the end of it. It'll put a scratch on the metal where I need it. So I'll just come down and there's one. There's another, you do a whole bunch of those. And then what I do is I come back with a punch and I'll go and I'll mark them all, and you'll see why that's done later. So I'll do that one. I gotta put another scribe right here, and I'll do the punches on that also. Okay, I have all those pieces marked and punched on 2 separate sets of lines. One you can see a little bit better than the other, but you get the idea. There's 2 lines with 2 sets of punches in it. And there's actually 3 bends that happen. You got a real sharp one, you got a shallow one, and a shallow one. I'll show you why there's only 2 marks on here. You could draw the other line in there, but on this it just happens to be the width of the die, so you can just, for one of the bends, you can line it up to the end of the die. And this is what we're bending it on. It's one of those Harbor Freight presses, and about 2 or 3 weeks ago I found some press brake dies at the scrapyard and made up this setup so that I could bend metal using the hydraulic press. And there's one long die on the top and bottom, and then I had extra die material left over. That's what you see on the bottom. So I cut that up and into 1 inch, 2 inch, 4 inch, and what that does, it allows me to make with 1 inch increments a top die. So if I want to bend something that's got a side already bent, so if I want to make a box or a pan, and I want to do that, which is just scrap metal, for example. So you already bent one side up, you bent the other side up. Well, how do you get that next bend up, you know, on the two outside ends? So what you would do is, I know it's dark, but you would cut this material away, whatever the width is that you're going to fold up. So say if this is 3 inches, you're going to come back 3 inches and cut this corner out, and the opposite corner. Pretend that lip's not there. And say this is 4 inches wide, you'll put 4 inches worth of die in the center of it. And as you can see, right now you can't do that, but if you had a 4 inch die in there, you could slide that in to where your marks are and make the bend and have it come up. All right, now let's go bend some of our stuff. I'll go set you in the pod and be right back. I don't know, lighting ain't all that great, but here we go. So what I have is my 1 inch scribe line, which this gets divided up into 2 bends, and then the 2 inch line. My first bend, I'm just lining up the dot with the outside edge of the die, just because it works out that way for me. And I just want to right in the center of the work. Get it close. Good. And I'm just eyeballing how far the bend is, but I don't want a 90. I probably want like a 45. So about right about there. And I just look at it. If it's uneven at all, I'll smack it with a hammer just to try to chew it up a little bit. That's a partial bend. And then I'm going to put the knife edge of the die right on the dots. And that's kind of why you want the dots, because if you draw, it's hard to see, but see if you're picking that up. You could actually see the dots and some daylight come from behind it. And we are right there. See how you can see that dot under there? That's what we're doing. Alright, this one's going to be a full 90, so I can just run it right home. Alright. And then my last bend, I went too far. Last bend, again, the same thing. I'm just going to looking for those dots. Plus you can kind of put it on an angle so you can see it. There and right there. And again, that one's about a 45. I'm just kind of eyeballing it. If it's hanging down on one side a little bit. A little fine tuning. Got it back off. And take it off from the back. And that's got what we have for the profile. So I'm going to make 14 more of those, and then we'll get ready to start doing some welding. Alright, so I got those all bent up, and now I'm getting ready to start replacing the ones in the racks themselves. I took a wire wheel, hit them with a wire wheel, and then I hit it with some acetone, just because the things are impregnated with grease being in the grill. So what I'm going to do is cut one out at a time to keep the structure from getting all kitty-wampus on us. And so that's what I'm going to start doing. These two are going to stay. I'm going to start on this one. Some of these have been welded twice too. I need a big screwdriver. or hammer. I just don't want to grind too much of it away because I want to try to maintain as much of that weld as I can to attach to. Alright, ready to do some welding. Okay, I got the welder ready to go. I'm on DC negative, dial set at about 70 amps, and using street argon, and we're about 13 psi, something like that. So I have the two small electrode and two big stainless lead to be welding together. Neither one should go with each other, but that's what I have to work with, so that's what I'll be using. Okay, I want to see if we can get a tack on each one of those. You see that? So that's what I'm going to do all the way down the line and replace all the rotted ones. And we'll get back to it. Yeah, out with the old. And I got them done. In with the new. Not perfect, but they'll definitely do the job what they need to do, and that's what we're going for. Welds are kind of ugly. But you gotta put your time in, just like learning a new process, you know. So it's kind of good to practice on this kind of stuff. Okay, did this one too. And in this one, what we're gonna try is that one. See the color difference? That one's just cold rolled steel, 16, and made out of that. We want to see if it has to be stainless, if it holds up better. I think it definitely will, but that's what he wanted to try. So that's what we're going to do. And all of it's 16 gauge. I think I called this 18 gauge before, but it's 16 also. So that's it. I just got to clean up, put stuff away, and we're calling it a day. That thing rolls real nice too on that dolly. It's easy to get in and out of the shop. It's quiet. Thanks guys, take care. And a little bonus footage. I knew it was raining out, but I decided to leave the single cab out and let the bed get a little bit more rusty, but I wanted to show what the water does on that wax. Just kind of beads on it. So that's what I meant by and if you can make a moisture barrier between the metal can't rust if the water and the oxygen can't get to it. So that's what I'm hoping for. Kind of like Rain-X for the whole thing, ain't it? Yeah. That's what we got. And then where it's not, it's just regular. You know, wherever it's not wiped down, everything's just basically just, you know, evenly wet over the whole thing. But that should do good for a waterproofer. Alright, now take care. Bye guys. Somebody's lonely.